What's going on, y'all? It's your boy GP, and you're rocking with me on the Aqua Method Podcast. And as always, you can follow me on Twitter, GrasshopperGP, Instagram, GrasshopperGP, both of which spell normally no special characters, numbers, emojis, underscores, anything crazy like that. It's GrasshopperGP, Instagram, and Twitter. Send me an email at GrasshopperGP@yahoo.com for any types of sponsorships, advertisements, questions, nice comments you want to have on the podcast. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much for liking and sharing and viewing and retweeting and all that good stuff. I really appreciate it, honestly and sincerely. You are listening to this on Grasshopper GP Official. That's Grasshopper with 3 S's because when I made the account, I couldn't spell. Grasshopper GP Official is with 3 S's. It's a YouTube account. Thank y'all for rocking with me once again. It's the AquaMethodPodcast. And I am recording this extremely late because I had a different show in mind with my friend Pierce, who was gonna go see Star Wars Rogue One and talk about it immediately after the show. But Pierce has babies and a wife, and he had to take care of them. And coming through in the clutch is my dear sweet friend, the lovely, awesome Anna from Alabama. How you doing, Anna?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I would be doing better if I had if I was more prepared for this show that I do every week.
Well, hey, these circumstances happen. I totally get it.
You know,
And I'm going to be here with you.
I'm really glad that you made the time at the very last minute. Now, it's always difficult for me to ask Anna for her time because Anna is a globe-trotting, world traveler, jet setter, doctor, and her time is very, very precious and valuable. So I really appreciate her spending a little bit of time to talk nonsense with your boy.
Doctor in May. How many times do I have to tell you, GP?
It don't matter. You're a doctor in my mind and in my heart. So May, huh? So that's it.
Yep, May.
Yeah.
I know it. I'll be headed back to Oklahoma City and walking across the stage, getting the robe and the hood.
That's awesome. Dr. Anna. Well, we got to talk about that as soon as that happens. How you think that moment's gonna take you? Like, how do you feel that moment is gonna grab you? Will you cry?
I doubt I'll cry. This is gonna be what? I mean, if you count high school graduation, this will be 1, 2, 3, 4th graduation. I don't know. I always am kind of on the lookout for something crazy to happen, though, because nothing particularly crazy happened at my high school graduation, but undergraduate at UL, I had a few, like those little cords or whatever over my graduation robe.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you had the same chairs that I did for graduation, but there was like a little metal bar on each side of them, and the knot on the end of my cords got stuck in between the chairs, and I nearly strangled myself.
Oh no!
Trying to get up and go walk across the stage, So that happened, and then when I finished my master's, I got up there, and it happened to be my major professor, mentor, Dr. Barry Osler, who was calling out the names up there up front, and I went up there, and I was standing there, and he noticed it was me, and so he went in for, like, the hug, and then I guess at the last minute decided to do, like, the good old Louisiana side cheek kiss,
Right.
And I didn't know which way to go, and so I almost kissed my professor on the lips, and
awesome.
It was on the Jumbotron, and everybody was laughing, and so yeah. So I'm hoping nothing crazy happens at this graduation, but somehow I believe that something stupid will happen, so we'll see. I think I'm more afraid than anything of what's going to happen. I might fall
down. So what's the next step as soon as you get your degree? What happens next?
So I have been working during my clinical doctorate on my research doctorate as well, my PhD. So I will head back to Oklahoma City and finish up my PhD, hopefully 18 months or 2 years. That I got a few more classes to take, and then it's on to the dissertation. Got to write that book. So.
Yeah, you got to write a book, man. Now, can your dissertation be published? Could somebody pick it up?
So the way that the dissertation is structured, that most of the time it's not publishable
Okay.
as it is, and so you'd have to rework it to get it in book form. But it will be published in dissertation form, and it'll be, I guess, a book that way, but not a traditional textbook.
Yeah, because I just think that'd be cool. I mean, like I'm just being honest. I probably wouldn't read it, but it'd be cool to have, my friend's book in my house or my apartment. That'd be kind of dope. Like, yeah, I knew this person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, so that's awesome. So congratulations in advance. I'm really proud of you, but you already know that.
Well, thank you. Thank you. It's been a long time coming. I think my parents are going to be more excited to see me graduate than I am.
So how much debt will you be in, if you don't mind me asking?
Not a significant amount. I'm very fortunate to have two wonderful parents that have supported me along the way and had a great amount of funding, not only from the University of Louisiana Lafayette, but also from the University of Oklahoma. So very fortunate in that regard, and shouldn't be starting with too much. So.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you're on the fast track, or you right around the age that you would be, being a doctor?
Actually, for my area in audiology, I'm kind of on the slow track.
Okay.
Most everybody said the way that ours works is you finish your bachelor's degree and then you go directly to the clinical doctorate. Kind of like physical therapy as well, that you get a bachelor's degree and then you go for the doctor of physical therapy. So most everybody, if they go straight through, they'll be about 25, 26 by the time they finish their doctorate. So I took time for my master's there in Louisiana, so I'm about 2 years behind. But in the grand scheme of things, I don't think that's all that bad.
No, I don't think so. As long as you get there, that's how I feel about it. You could be 10 years older, as long as you make it.
That's right, and I think that having the wisdom and the experience of being older than 25 is helpful in many ways. Not to say that people that are 25 can't make good decisions; they can. But I think a little bit differently nowadays than I did even 3-4 years ago. So.
Nah, man, you're right, but you're absolutely right. There's a lot of very brilliant and very level-headed 25-year-olds, but 25-year-olds tend to not be so level-headed.
Well, there's scientific research to back that one up. That there's something about, I think it's prefrontal lobe development in the brain isn't fully formed or isn't fully finished until about the age of 25, which is for your executive function and decision-making skills. So there's some research to back that up. I'm not just saying that out of the blue.
Right. Well, I mean, like, I haven't done any research, but I was definitely 25 at one point. And I think my decision was pretty good. I don't know, but we do get better with age, I think.
Absolutely, like fine wine.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, ma'am. But yeah, so like I said, I'm really glad to have you. And like I was gonna go. Me and my friend Pierce was gonna go see Star Wars Rogue One. I'm excited to see it, even though I'm not a Star Wars fan, admittedly. Are you a Star Wars fan? Is that something you're interested in, or what?
Yeah. I like both Star Wars and Star Trek. I have kind of been a casual watcher of both. I'm not a huge, I don't know what the good word for that would be, enthusiast. But I do keep up with it, I guess.
You plan on seeing Rogue One or what?
Yeah, eventually. I really I want to sit down and have like a marathon and watch all of the old ones before I go back and watch that one so I can kind of remember what's going on. So I'll have to sit down for a marathon. I got to prepare, It's like any good student would do. You got to study. So.
Yeah. But it's breaking records. It's crazy. Like, I still might go to the movies just to see, because I know people are gonna be dressed up, and I imagine it being real crazy over there. So, what have you
thought about the thing since Disney took it over? What have you thought about the franchise since Disney bought it out?
Well, like I said, I was never a big fan of it to begin with. Not because of any negative connotations towards Star Wars. It was just never something that I had gotten into as a kid. So as like I would have, that would be a question I would ask you if you notice anything different. I think it's in good hands because Disney's doing real good things with Marvel. And
Yeah.
with and Star Wars, it looks like it's doing better. It's not only breaking records, but it seems to be more critically acclaimed. But they didn't really have that hard a job to do with the response they got from the three prequels. You know, people didn't really care for those.
Mhm. Yeah, that's true. So,
You know, but yeah, I think no, Disney it's in good hands. We was talking about that in the last episode, me and my friend Lizzie. It's funny because Disney, it feels like Disney is just they're making the same movie twice. You know, like with Beauty and the Beast coming out, and there's I heard rumors of a Mulan live action Mulan movie coming out and stuff like that. So they're just making the same movie twice, get double the money. With material that's already there. How you feel about that?
I think sometimes you just need to leave good enough alone.
Say it again?
I think sometimes you just need to leave good enough alone.
Now, why you say that?
Well, I mean, you think back to some of the classics, you know, Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, and things like that. The era that those were done in, you know, they've become relics in some ways and are kind of a key back to the past where they were originally created, and you lose that when you do it again. And I understand that they're trying to reach a new audience, but you know, I think that look back into the past is something that you know, children probably need to be exposed to. Because if we don't know our past, we don't know where we're going.
Right. Yeah. No. That style of animation is all but gone, and especially in feature films, which is now that you said it is kind of depressing. Because like I remember being a kid and going to see The Hunchback of Notre Dame and Mulan and Lion King, stuff like that, and like they don't make animated movies like that. It's all 3D. The people, I mean, like, you know, I guess I just said it. It's 3D animation and big eyes, and you know, it just not the same, you know.
Right.
I think
the only thing that I think that's been interesting about the Disney franchise, at least moving forward since, you know, some of their first films, Snow White and all of that, you see this on a lot of, I guess, blogs and things, that women have talked about the role of the woman in Disney films has changed a lot over the years, where you've gone from Sleeping Beauty and Snow White, where you have the helpless young lady who the only cure for her is to find the man or the knight in shining armor.
Yeah.
And it comes full circle to movies like Mulan, where, you know, she's a very independent woman, or I don't know if you saw Brave, very strong female character. And so in that regard, I think that, you know, that's definitely good to have those strong female characters. Frozen, definitely too. You know, I've seen it only once, but the two sisters, the thing that saved them was their love for each other, not the love for the guy.
Right.
So,
Frozen was really groundbreaking because it was female centric and female driven, and I never saw it, but I really liked the music of it though.
yes.
But yeah, so what was your Disney go-to movie as a kid back in the day? You had one?
Gosh, yes. So absolutely crazy, and it's like something that just got lost. The Sword and the Stone, one of my favorites.
Oh wow, I don't think I've even heard of that one.
See, I know, it's one that got lost in the shuffle. I think it came out maybe in the 60s.
Oh, okay.
Maybe 70s, and it was based off of the King Arthur stories. You know, it had Merlin and everything. So it was definitely one of my favorites.
Yeah, back I was a big fan of Aladdin back in the day. When you how familiar are you with Aladdin? Remember that?
Oh yes, I remember.
Now, remember when Jafar became a genie?
Oh yes,
He became like a bad genie. Like he was so like I was so scared of him as a kid, but I had to keep watching it. You know, like trying to face my fears. Like,
Yes. And then there was the fair share of terrible Disney movies like The Brave Little Toaster and stuff like that.
That was a Disney movie?
I think so, or was it not?
Through the magic of the internet, we will surely find out. The Brave Little Toaster. I remember. I like the Brave Little Toaster.
You like the Brave Little Toaster?
Yeah,
That's one I thought was scary. That vacuum cleaner just scared the pants off of me. I don't know.
When the toaster had to like save his friends, I think it was like a trash compactor or something. That was kind of scary. I was a little upset about that. You know, that was a little sad. There was a lot of sad moments in these movies, in them Disney movies.
Yes.
You know. Let's see. The Brave Little Toaster. Hyperion animation. It wasn't a Disney movie. That.
Oh, okay. Well, good, because then that makes more sense.
It was definitely Disney style though. Disney looking.
Mhm.
I don't think so. At least the Walt Disney Studios purchased the novel, The Brave Little Toaster. It seems, and stuff like that. But
But I think one of my other favorite ones would be Mary Poppins for sure.
Never saw Mary Poppins.
You're kidding.
Never saw Mary Poppins. I'm gonna say it like this: I don't remember seeing Mary Poppins. I was probably forced to watch it in the preschool days, kindergarten days. But yeah, I remember Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. I remember that. And that's it. And Dick Van Dyke, because I was a big fan of the Dick Van Dyke Show back at Nick and Night days.
Yes.
But that was pretty much it. I heard they're remaking that, man.
See, now that's just upsetting to me.
Yeah, like, and I don't want to sound like a hypocrite, because me and my friend, the guy I was gonna go watch Star Wars with, Pierce, we had a argument about, debate about remaking, the constant remaking and rebooting of superhero movies like Batman and stuff like that, and I was like, well, you got to reimagine Batman for every generation. And, I don't mind that. And especially if every Batman is different. The core of Batman is the same, but the way they're depicted and their emotions and their motivations are slightly different, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's cool. But there are some things that should be just for us. If or for the generation before us, like Mary Poppins shouldn't be remade, Lion King shouldn't be remade. No. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. So I feel like I'm talking both sides of the aisle over here.
Right. Exactly. Because some of those things, a lot of those stories came from either fairy tales or books, from times since past.
Yeah.
And there's not too much that you can do to rewrite that story because it's already been written.
Yeah, so in like, were you a fan of Power Rangers back in the day?
Of course, yes.
See, that's why Anna's so special to me, because I'm waiting for her to say no. She hasn't said no to any of these questions yet. Yeah, Power Rangers, man.
I was the pink Power Ranger for Halloween one year when I was growing up.
I think I'm pretty sure I was one of them. I know my cousin was the Red Ranger at one point. I don't know. I can't remember if I was ever a Power Ranger. I had to have been at some point. But yeah, I don't know. I think Jason was my favorite. I think the Red Ranger was my favorite. And then the Green Ranger became a good guy. Because I used to like that he was special because he had that shield. That gold shield on his chest. I like that. And then when the White Ranger came, I'm like, oh, wow.
Right? I know. Mind blown.
Yeah, man. That was real, real dope. I had all them toys. But yeah, they're remaking the Power Rangers. How you feel about that?
I think that'll be good. That it's something that kind of got lost, I think. And I'm happy to see a resurgence for that because you got to think about the market too. So now everybody that grew up with that has kids, and so they're going to want to take their kids to go see that and introduce that. And so I think that's great, introducing another generation to that story.
Yeah, that's I'm looking. Did you see the trailer for the new one?
No, I haven't seen it.
I don't know, man. I think it's gonna be bad. I think it's gonna be a bad movie. but I have great hopes for it. And I went to Toys R Us to get gifts for my little nieces for Christmas. And I'm looking in there, and going to Toys R Us as an adult is an interesting experience because it's like, look at all of this. Wow, there's so
Uh-huh.
much. There's so much. I'm glad that I don't have kids because they'll just be grabbing and grabbing, and I'll be like, whoa. And then but I saw the Power Ranger section, and they got toys already for the Power Rangers movie that comes out next year. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, I was a little spoiled, a little upset that I got to see what the Megazord's gonna look like already, and what the Zord's gonna look like already, and they look interesting. Just
Really?
yeah, well, I mean, I knew they wasn't gonna look exactly like they couldn't do what they did when we was kids in the '90s, but it's something else, man. Like
Mm-mm.
the Mastodon Zord has 6 legs. It looks like, and like, what is going on here?
Oh, that's crazy.
Yep. Is there anything from your childhood that you would like to see remade? Because they did the Ninja Turtles. I think they did good with the Ninja Turtles.
I actually haven't seen that.
I mean, the first one was. A lot of people complain because the turtles look kind of scary, but they all. I mean, they're 6-foot turtle monsters come out the sewer. So they're not gonna be all cutesy, but they look better in the second movie, and then they bought Bebop and Rocksteady, which was really really cool. I liked it. I mean, I wouldn't buy it. It was for kids, but the fact that they threw those characters in was definitely a call out to all late 20, early 30 people.
Right.
But I think it looked good. I mean, I'm glad they rebooted it. I'm just so. Is there anything that you would like to see rebooted from your childhood? Like, if you could pick all the stuff that you grew up with that you loved, and as an adult you would like to see again. Is there anything like that?
From the second that you asked me that, I've been thinking about, some of the series and things that I watched growing up, and the more that I think about it, the more that I find that the 90s was such a weird time that I'm not really sure if a lot of that should be brought back.
Like what?
Well, things like, Ren and Stimpy, or Beavis and Butthead and things like that.
They tried to bring back Beavis and Butthead.
Right, but I just don't think it works anymore. I think, for that era and...
Yeah, it doesn't work anymore because, like, music videos, especially Beavis and Butthead, like, music videos aren't as culturally impactful as they once were. And MTV and shows like that, you had to watch those shows at that time to see those videos, and then you had to watch the certain time to see Beavis and Butthead make fun of those videos. But now it's all on YouTube. You can watch whatever you want to watch at any time. I mean, like with anything, music videos, movies, whatever you want to see, you can watch it at your time, at your pace.
Right, exactly. So I think that a lot of those were so specific to that era that I was actually reading an article, I guess it was the other day, earlier this week, and it was talking about the middle generation between Generation X and the millennials, which is kind of our generation, right? It's the late 70s going into the 80s. And our generation kind of gets lost, I think, in a lot of things. But, some of them call it the last great generation, or the lucky ones, because we actually got to experience what it was like before a totally digital world.
Yeah, that's what I think. I've been saying that on the show for a bunch of times. Like, I think the 90s was the best time to be a kid because we had the emergence of the internet and the digital era and stuff like that, but we was able to grow up as kids and go play outside and enjoy, program television and it was a communal thing. It wasn't so niche,
We were eased into it, I think. That, we were the last generation that grew up, just showing up at people's houses and memorizing people's phone numbers and having to write things down and overhead projectors and all that kind of stuff, slideshows, and I mean, not PowerPoint. You know what I'm talking about? Like the actual ones where you put in
The slides, yeah.
the slides.
Yeah,
Like that's
yeah.
the reason that they're actually called a slideshow. There, kids.
I remember I remember 3.5, not 3.5, 3.5 inch floppy disks.
Yeah. What about the big ones though? Like the ones that were actually floppy.
The zip drives, yeah, those big old. They look like vinyl, like they look like records.
The big square ones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I remember those. I experienced Laserdisc one time in school.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I remember. They'll wheel in the big old TV into the classroom, and I can't remember. I think it was one of my science classes, I believe, and this was in high school. And they brought this big old. It was like a giant DVD. I'm like, what the hell is that? It was like a cross between a CD and vinyl and a record. And I'm like, what is this big thing here? And like, that's a laser disc. And like, I'm like, oh, that's a laser disc. That's what them old people was talking about. That's what that is. Oh, like, all right, interesting. I remember the librarian was like a school photographer. She would take a lot of pictures, and she had a digital camera that she had to put a zip drive in, like the big thick floppy disk.
Oh my gosh.
That's you know what I mean. That's how you stored stuff back in the day, and she probably maybe like a quarter gig, like 250 megabytes maybe.
I mean, unreal.
Yeah.
Going to develop film and things like that.
Now that's a retro thing. That's something they're trying to make retro and cool because it's so old. They got a lot of Polaroid cameras out that are selling out crazy now because the youngsters think they're so cute and so archaic.
Right. Yeah, they're like, oh, this is the newest thing. Well, no.
Not quite. Not quite. No, being a kid, I'm gonna say it until I can't say anything. Being a kid in the '90s was the best time to be a kid.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we got to live in a huge era of change, and one of the other things that article that I was reading was talking about, it wasn't really an article, it was kind of a blog spot, was talking about that middle generation there has a healthy kind of grudge cynicism, and that's like quoted from that article, the grudge cynicism of the Gen Xers, but then the unbound optimism of the millennials. It's like a good combo. And then because of all of the economic changes and everything in the stock market, we weren't old enough to lose anything at that point, so we didn't suffer greatly from all of that, and we gathered a certain amount of cynicism and kind of disbelief for things, but then saw what was to come, and the millennials coming after us to have a touch of optimism. So it is a special little pocket, and I think that you and I both know, and anybody else who's a part of that generation, that I don't think anybody that's on the outside can really understand it, but we from the inside totally get it because we lived it.
Yeah, no, they don't understand, man. But it is kind of funny. Like like the older generation, you do anything on a computer, they think you're a rocket scientist.
Right.
It's so interesting. It's so adorable because they like the simplest things they don't know, like the Control S and Control X and V and stuff like that. And I just think that's interesting. But like I can't imagine. I mean, if I would love to like in a movie type of scenario, like take who I am as a person, but put it in a younger body, put it in like a teenager, like a 12-year-old or something in this day and age, growing up your whole life being online and stuff like that,
Right,
like
and I think that's another special thing about us, because when we were graduating from high school, Facebook was still only for college students, and you had to have a .edu address.
Yep, right? Sure was. I was absolutely against Facebook because of that. I didn't like the lack of inclusion at the time, so I was like, you know what? I'm sticking with MySpace. MySpace is cooler.
Right, yeah, MySpace. Yeah, and then everybody dropped the MySpace and Facebook, blew it wide open. But we were kind of the last generation that didn't live our lives online, if that makes sense. Like, yeah, we had MySpace and stuff like that, but I mean, for the majority of our lives, we did stupid stuff and it wasn't publicized all over the place. And now, I mean, everybody taking pictures of their fried chicken that they made for dinner. It's
right,
like,
right. No, you got to experience things. And I remember, and another thing that's cool that's being lost is the photo album. Like I like to go to my grandmother's house and get the dusty old photo album. Got my mom as a teenager, and stuff like that. And me and my cousins as little babies and stuff like that, and we could all look at it together and experience it and flip through these moldy old pages and stuff like that. You can't do that no more. It's all on your computer now.
Right.
I mean, which makes it more convenient because I could throw it on a jump drive. We could put it on the TV, HDMI, blow it up real big, nice 50-inch screen, beautiful. But it's just it's just not the same.
It's definitely not the same. It really isn't. But we've come a long way.
Yeah, but I tell you what, CVS and Walmart, they still hanging in there with them photo printing spots.
I use it every now and again because I'll get photo frames and put things in there or I'll get some collages printed up for gifts and things like that. I still use it on occasion. I can't say that I use it nearly as much as what I used to because, I mean, you remember, back in high school, you'd have a disposable camera or your regular camera, and you'd probably be developing some film, once, twice a month or something just from pictures you took at school and things like that.
Man, you don't even understand. Like, back in the day, middle school, high school, I was that guy, man. I would take all the pictures, and I would always spend a little extra at the photo spot in Walmart and get doubles, and I used to pass them around.
Oh yeah. And those are, I mean, you probably still have a lot of those photos, and I bet you a lot of friends still have a lot of those photos too.
Yeah, I definitely got them. I got they are at my mom's house, and they are hilarious to look at.
Right, but it's, at the same time, though, you can look through a lot of those photos and you'll see at a point where it stops. And that was that point of change that I know I have a box full of photos at my house in Montgomery. And I know exactly kind of where the photograph stopped. And it was probably about midway through high school, I think, is where all of that stopped. And then you have no more printed photos, really.
Nope. Like you said, you get like the 2 or 3 and special ones. You get them in frame, and but yeah, it's different, man. It's different. I just can't imagine growing up, being a kid now.
I know.
And it's interesting to think about the evolution of the human mind because like a baby can grab a phone and know how to operate it. The same way we gravitated to the computers and we knew how to operate it. Our parents didn't grow up with it, so they had to learn it. But it was like something that was almost innate to us.
Right. Well, and I think that also the operating systems that we grew up with was, because we didn't have anybody to teach us or kind of help us deal with. So we had to troubleshoot on our own. So we learned it by trial and error. I think, and that's what makes us what some people call technology immigrants. Got it, boom, done, and then just keeps going. It's just crazy.
Yeah, for some reason, Anna, for like 2 seconds, my recorder stopped recording. So, I missed that last little bit, but I got the gist of what you were saying. Being the older generations being immigrants to the new technology that we have now, and the babies being natives, and they already know how to work it without being taught.
Right. Exactly. Because they've grown up with it in their hands. We did not.
Nah. No, we sure didn't. But like, I think we're better for it. But like my a long time ago, my roommate, we was talking about it because like I was thinking like, because our parents I feel like they're so left behind. They're trying to get on and trying to understand it, but it's tougher for them. I wonder if there'll ever be anything that will catch us by surprise. Like I feel like our parents' generation, like the internet just came out of nowhere. Like what is this? I gotta learn this now. I gotta if I don't know it, then I'm gonna be behind, and I gotta compete with 20-something-year-olds who know everything. And
I think that I've already actually started to see that because us in that little gap generation, you always 80s babies are always the worst. They're like, oh, 90s babies, y'all are totally different than us. Millennials, get out of here.
Right.
But it's true because I've worked with a lot of millennials and a lot of the same tasks and things that I would do. It takes them a lot less time to do things.
Like what?
Well, some of the stuff that I think I encountered was in the research lab that I worked in, that trying to create, graphs and scatter plots and things like that and get them put up on a presentation or in Microsoft Word and things like that, stuff in formatting that would take me a lot longer because I haven't, that's just not something that I guess I grew up doing, that they can get those things done, I feel like, a lot quicker. And that's something that, I'm not exactly nervous about because I think our generation has a lot more social skills than the millennials do. So I think we have some job security in that aspect. But they can do things quickly, and they are very tech savvy. And,
of course,
they're just a different breed, I think.
Now, you think that they're not as social as we are. Is that right?
That's what I would posit. Simply because they've grown up with a screen in their face instead of somebody else's face in their face.
Yeah, I guess. I could see that. I could see that. Like this chick, I was trying to I had met a girl, and we started talking, and one of the first things she asked me was, "What's my Instagram?" And I'm like, that's something I'm not used to.
Like, really?
Like, I mean, because it's interesting. What makes it interesting is, first of all, I don't find myself to be that vapid. But if I was, but regardless, like you're seeing me here, you see my face. This is what I look like, right here. Like, you want to see me? You want to see me travel? You want to see me eating food? Like, I don't like. What's the point of you knowing my Instagram? Cause the Instagram is gonna lie to you. The Instagram is gonna lie to you. I'm only gonna show the best of me.
Right.
on my social media, you're not gonna see me mad. You're not gonna see me cry or upset or anything like that. You're only gonna see me smiling. So like the Instagram for everybody is just a small facade. I mean, it's not a facade. It's just a small piece of who you are. It's just your most jovial, your most youthful, youngest, and adventurous self. That's the only thing you put out.
Right, and I would say the same thing sometimes for Facebook too.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of sharing of turmoil and things like that too.
Yeah.
But it's definitely, you get to choose what you put out there, and that's I guess your online persona.
Yeah, you could choose it. You could edit it.
Mm-hmm.
But like so yeah. Now I'm thinking about it. You make a lot of sense. Like I think we're better at it because we know that you gotta meet the people. You gotta talk to the people to fully grasp who they are.
Right, and I think that as we transition, into, or at least our generation transitions later on into senior type positions, when we're up for the same job with the millennial. I think it's going to be interesting because that older generation is really going to be looking for that face-to-face and trying to make that personal connection, where I think we will be more successful in getting those senior positions than millennials are. Yeah. Even if they are more qualified and can do all of these things with tech and are very efficient, a lot of jobs really are based on that human connection, whether it's healthcare, whether it's in sales, whether it's in business, anything. That's the human connection is absolutely paramount.
Right.
And I worry kind of where we're headed after us, after
Right.
we're in control. But we're the bridge. We're the bridge generation, and so we can relate to the millennials, and we'll be able to do that, and we'll give them the jobs when we're ready.
That's a really interesting concept and thought. Like we're really in the middle. Like we're like the best of both worlds, because we remember the time before the internet. Remember, and we weren't lost. It didn't absorb us and spit us out. We were met with this new technology and we took it over. And we understood it. So, like, when it comes to competition, they might be a little faster with it, but I don't think there's going to be that much. It's not as big a gap between us and the new generations. Like, if we had kids, them versus us and our parents.
Right.
Like, the gap between us and our parents is large. It's a chasm. The gap between us and the up-and-comers, the kids, the babies and stuff like that, it's not that big.
Right. And that's kind of what the article was talking about that I was reading, is that, our generation is able to put away the phone, put away the computer for a weekend.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we're glued to social media, and we're glued to blog spots, and we're glued to the tech in the same way that they are, but we know that we can put it away.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of the difference. So we can relate to them, and we can also relate to the older generations too. That it's just interesting. But I also read a thing on generational dynamics and working with millennials, and one of the ways that they suggested about getting gaining the trust, I guess, of millennials and getting them engaged was asking them to help you with kind of techie things. That you pull them over and you say, well, do you know how to get this chart up there and do this? And it's like they take joy in being able to do that, and they feel appreciated and wanted, and become part of the group that way.
Yeah, it's an interesting time, man. But I think we're gonna handle it though.
Yes.
But yeah, so also while we're having our discussion, I was looking at Instagram, and UL's graduating, so big shout out to the new Raging Cajun alumni, and much love to you. Welcome to the family. Everybody who graduated got their degrees, masters, bachelors, whatever it is, doctorates, all that good stuff. So big shout out to all the Raging Cajun alumni, the brand new people.
We'll see your name on the Walk of Fame there.
Yeah. I don't think I want to get a break. I need to get one before I get out of Lafayette.
You should have one.
Like automatically, I didn't have to put that down.
Yeah, I think it was paid for, or at least it was when we graduated.
All right, cool. Now you graduated your undergrad in 2010?
2010.
Okay, I was a year after you. But yeah, so because we talked about this before, and it makes me laugh because we disagree. I really wanted one of them red robes. Like that, my year was the last year with the black robes, and I was upset when they came out in 2012 with them pretty red robes. Man, I want one.
Oh my gosh! Well, I'm sure that the bookstore would be willing to sell you one if you want them.
But nah, man, I earned a black one. I'm cool with it. I got me a nice degree, and I got the black robe. My mama got it hanging in the closet somewhere, and so I'm cool with it. But man, like my school is red. That's kind of cool, man. All that, all them smiling faces with them red robes and red hats. You know what I mean?
That's right. A sea of red.
Yeah. But you got one for your masters, huh?
I did.
See, but you don't like it though.
Well, the one for the masters was black.
Okay.
Yeah, so they do red for the undergraduates, black for the master students, and then for the doctoral students, they have black with red stripes, which actually I think that one looks really awesome.
Okay. So you got your undergrad and your master's from UL. Why didn't you decide to get your doctorate from UL? Was it a hard decision, or it was just something that it was just how things happen?
Well, I think that it was a big period of growth while I was finishing up my master's degree, and there was I think there was a lot going on in life, and I was just trying to find a new path. And I think I enjoyed Lafayette a little bit too much, if that makes sense.
Well, I mean, it does make sense because if you're so familiar with the spot, then that means there's more distractions.
Right, exactly. That I had a wonderful friend group and lots of stuff to do, and I realized that if I was going to further my education even further, that maybe staying there was not the best thing for me, so that I could focus. So it wasn't exactly a hard decision. It was hard leaving, I'll tell you that much. That I talk about Lafayette all the time.
Yeah.
But you got to do what you got to do.
Absolutely, it's gonna be good to get you when you come back to visit. It'll be good to see you.
Yeah, absolutely. Going back for Fat Tuesday.
Yes, ma'am. But yeah, so I'm rocking out with my friend Anna, and we're just having a good discussion about being a kid in the '90s, man, and how it'll never be the same.
Never be the same.
No, ma'am. But is there anything else you want to get off your chest? Is there anything else that is percolating in your mind that you want to get on the Aqua Method podcast and get your boy GP's take on?
What do you think about the millennials?
In regards to what?
Can you work with them?
Yeah, I actually. It's so funny, man. Like, cause working in news and in TV is kind of interesting, cause the people who make the most money are older, and my people, are like towards like closer in the middle, and the younger people, they just starting out, so they make the least. But we my department is the production department. We are the ones who put the stuff on TV. And we're all about the same age. The oldest guy, he's an outlier. He's like 43. That's Pierce, the guy I was gonna go see Star Wars with, and the youngest is 19. And
oh wow!
His name is Matt, and I honestly like working with him, but he is annoying, and because he's a baby, and it's just a different type of humor that we have. But no, he's a hard worker, and he's really good at what he does. He's one of the floor directors, and he works the camera, and he's really, really good with his shots and stuff like that. So so no complaints.
I think that's a big misnomer for the millennials, that a lot of people say that they have this false sense of entitlement, and that they think that they're due everything in this world from the get-go, and I don't necessarily think that that's true. I know plenty of millennials that are ready and willing to put in the elbow grease and the hard work to get where they want to be, and I think maybe they're frustrated that they can't get there as quickly as they thought, but darling millennials, everybody's dealing with that. So hang in there.
No, I think that they're what I like about the millennials, and again we're part of that generation. We're on the older side, but we're part of the millennial group. But
I'm not a millennial.
You're not.
No.
But statistically, what I'm reading here, the millennial group is like it encompasses our birth year.
I refuse to believe it. I just don't. I don't relate totally to that group. I don't know. But anyways, you were gonna say.
It does feel like we're different, but yeah, it says let's see here, terminal date and age range. It's millennials are described as people born between 1983 and 2000.
That's crazy.
So yeah.
Mm-mm.
There's then I'm looking at Wikipedia, and they're talking about there's people who believe that our group, our small group, we're like the Xennials.
Right.
Xennials, the lucky ones, the Oregon Trail generation.
Yeah.
Is what I'm looking at. But yeah, so yeah, I don't even remember what I was gonna say about it, but like, I feel like they have a level of optimism that is beautiful, and I feel like I share in that optimism. I think that and they're most socially conscious. They're I think the millennials are I mean, including us. I think that we're all our age group and younger are a lot less racist, and a lot
Mhm.
less misogynist, and a lot less fearful of other sexuality and stuff like that.
Sure.
We understand, we're more accepting of things like that, So I like that, I think that's cool, and I think we're a lot more forward thinking and open minded, you know.
Absolutely, and I think that that's just secondary to the World Wide Web, that we were exposed to so many more things. And I know that you and I on a previous podcast have talked about this, that you start to understand different cultures and different ways of life by experience. And through the internet, we have the chance to experience a lot more than what's in our neighborhood nowadays. And so I think that that's part of that social consciousness. And then everything's online all the time. That you know what's going on halfway across the world
Absolutely.
just by a quick Google search.
And I think being able to see it all makes you want to explore, because you see, like, because it doesn't feel like New York or Japan or Los Angeles is a planet away. It's just right there. We can, like, these are things you can touch and you can experience. Just if you have the means to do it. I think that's why our generation and the generations after us are more adventurous and not as frightened of things that are unfamiliar to us.
Right.
You know what I
I
mean?
can agree more.
But yeah, this was a very thoughtful. Well, I mean, the intelligence level of this podcast was increased greatly by the fact, I got a doctor on the show, but
Oh, goodness.
this was a very thoughtful and insightful podcast. I really liked it. We are at 52 minutes, so we got a little bit of time left. But yeah, I like the millennials. I mean, there's a lot of things that I don't understand. I don't get. I'm not with no Snapchat. You can miss me with that. I'm off the Snapchat pool. I still like to buy CDs. I'm weird. I'm an old man in that regard, and I like to go to the movie theater because I don't know. I always loved going to the movies. It's always been something I like to do. I was never a big buyer of DVDs, and I love Netflix. Netflix is awesome. I love having it, but I will always go to the movie theater. That's why I hope that we continue to support movie theaters so they can still exist. I feel like like I hope not 20 years, but maybe 50 years, there might not even be movie theaters.
Well, I think it'll be a while until something like technology takes over cinema to the point where you won't have in-person movie theaters. I think that'll definitely take a while, but I am eager to see where this whole TV cable thing goes, because I
That's
keep on
interesting.
seeing more and more of this kind of choose your stuff, Netflix. I cannot tell you how many people my age I know do not have cable, and I don't know, it's just kind of eye-opening because you don't really need it anymore. At least our generation feels like we don't, because we have other outlets.
Yeah, no, that is becoming more and more interesting, especially as a person who works in TV. Like, as long as there are old people, there'll always be local news. So, shout out to the old people. Um,
I watch the local news in the morning.
well, you're a doctor, so you have an old soul. Nah, I'm just kidding. But no, there's always gonna be local news, and there's always gonna be I don't like stuff like that. I think there's always gonna be on TV, but like it is interesting because like they put Thursday night football on Twitter. You don't have to watch TV for that. And they're trying, and Amazon's trying to get into sports packages. The only reason a lot of people keep their cable packages is for live sporting events, because you want to be in the moment with that stuff. Everything that is taped or everything that is episodic or situational you could watch on YouTube or Netflix, Hulu. You know, you don't have to be there in the moment. You could just appreciate it, even if it's something that is communal, like Westworld or Game of Thrones or something like that. You don't necessarily have to watch it at the same time everybody else is. You want to, because if you don't, people are going to spoil it for you on social media. But you just got to train yourself to not go on social media until you watch it and you're a part of the community. You know, but
I'm totally guilty of buying the cable for the sporting events. That the only reason I have cable is to get the SEC network so I can watch my Auburn games, and to get the ESPN channels so on occasion I can catch a UL game on TV. That's it. That's the only reason I have it.
Speaking of the New Orleans Bowl, UL is going.
Yes, I know.
That's tomorrow.
Isn't that exciting?
That's tomorrow.
Have you ever been to one of the bowl games?
I went to one. I went to the one against East Carolina, the Pirates, wherever they are. I saw them play, and but I had the opportunity to go to the great one, the first one, and I didn't go, and I regret that all the time.
I was there, buddy.
You know,
first in 21 years that we got, I think.
Everybody and their mama, sister, auntie, uncle, pet dog was there, and I was not there, and I had every opportunity to go, and I was dumb, and I didn't go, and I went to somebody's house party, which was not nearly as fun.
See, that goes back to that executive function and prefrontal lobe development and decision-making skills.
Hey, you might be right, because I might have been 25 at the time. No, because that was like the year, I think, when that was, 2011, 12?
Yeah, 11, 12, something like that, yeah.
So I was 23, 24. So still, yeah, I was making bad decisions then, yeah. Yeah, that was an awful decision. There's things that, and I don't want to keep it because I don't want this episode to be too long. We got like 3 or 4 minutes left.
That I, in my later academic career, I did a lot of student government and things like that, and I think that was a really beneficial experience that I would have loved to have done when I was an undergraduate, but I was too scared, and I don't know why, but eventually I got up the courage to do it later. So I'm lucky that I got to right that wrong a little bit later on in life. But I think that just being more involved on campus and being part of that student community in a big way and being part of the governance of the university and things like that, I think that that's really important. I would have loved to have done that at UL.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Anna, my stupid recording system stopped recording once again. I got everything you said about what you regret in UL, but my beautiful diatribe about the UL New Orleans Bowl, the first one, was not recorded, and I'm upset and angry. But that is technology. I guess I'm just not a millennial enough to have successfully recorded that stuff.
Nope, you didn't have the millennial radar to know that there was a technology malfunction. They probably have a separate organ for that.
Right, absolutely. Oh, man. So, in case you missed it, in case it did get recorded, what I said was, I regret not going to the first UL New Orleans Bowl. Anna was there. It was beautiful. There was like a last-second field goal kick that won it for UL. A sea of red. It was beautiful. It was awesome. I wasn't a part of it, but I did listen to it on the radio, and I had a good time, but I wish I was there. That's one of the few things I regret. I am mad at this computer and at this recording system, but it is what it is, and I just got to do better, I guess. But yeah, it was, what I said was full of emotion and power, so hopefully you can imagine it.
It was profound.
I thank you very much, Anna, because I do believe that I was very, very emotive with my speech. It was just not recorded, which is the whole point of this medium that I have subscribed to. But it is what it is. My rage is simmering. It'll soon cool off, and I'll be more knowledgeable because of it. So yeah. So Miss Anna, it was a pleasure to have you on the show. Please stay on the line if you can, while I wrap this thing up, and I will say goodbye to you. Is there anything else you want to say to the people before we get out of here?
No, just thanks for having me. Go Cajuns. Congratulations congrats to the class of 2016. And Coach Hud, we love you.
Right, man. Yep. Shout out to you, well. Congratulations to the class of 2016. Welcome to the family. And best wishes to you. And bright futures all around. As always, you can follow me on Twitter, GrasshopperGP, Instagram, GrasshopperGP, both of which spelled normally. No special characters, numbers, emojis, underscores, anything crazy like that. It's GrasshopperGP, Instagram and Twitter. Send me an email at GrasshopperGP@yahoo.com for any types of sponsorships, advertisements, questions, nice comments you want to make about the AquaMethodPodcast. Send them there at GrasshopperGP official. GrasshopperGP@yahoo.com. That's the email. If you have any mean comments you want to make about the AquaMethodPodcast, you write them down, you look at it, you feel good about yourself, throw them in the trash. And then and that's how that would be deposited in the universe. You are listening to this on GrasshopperGP official. That's Grasshopper with 3 S's because when I made the account, I couldn't spell GrasshopperGP official. It's a YouTube account. You are rocking with me, your boy GP, the lovely, awesome, extremely smart doctor in the making, doctor currently right now, Anna from Alabama. This is the AquaMethodPodcast. Y'all be good.